I recorded 100 podcast panel episodes in 90 days, and here's something that I learned from it. My name is Niiamah Ashong, and I am a coach with Outliers Edge, which is a transformational leadership business that focuses on helping people up-level their impact, their income, and their identity so they can create 10K plus months on the reg in a way that's authentic to them, right? That's it. Just that's what we do. That's what we focus on. And I have a podcast called the Outliers Edge podcast where I bring together panels of outliers, people who have done extraordinary things in their business and in their leadership. And I bring us together to have a roundtable about how they both did it in the past and how they're doing it going forward. Part of this process is used to help create clients for me, both from an exposure with listeners as well as exposure with the people who come onto the podcast. Like the people who are there, I don't hide this. The people who come on my podcast are outliers, and those are the people that I help the most. And so I really enjoy like having created something that feels like a genuine process throughout it. So one of the things like that I found through this process of creating clients this way is that eventually, at least at the time of this recording, I've had about 613 confirmed appointments on the calendar for the podcast conversation. And then from there, about 200 to 220, somewhere in that range, let's say like 210 for people who've actually confirmed for a group coaching experience with me. So I like to bring that in here. What I found is that about 1 in 3 people who sign up for the podcast go ahead and sign up for the coaching experience, and that happened way before 600. It's not like that was a consistent thread or a consistent trend all the way through. And so one of the things that I saw from this is like honestly, there's just it made me really start to recognize that like I need to track certain components of whether or not this is working. And the think about why I'm making this video, I think that I include those stats because there's something that I had to learn how I become a better leader in order to hold that. Right. We had the 613 or so from the podcast, the 210 from that actually came to the group coaching. And our community group grew by about 360 people during that time. And so all this is happening simultaneously. And up until this point, I'd really just done one-on-one coaching. Like that was my primary way of meeting people. Like I met people in a one-on-one context. I might go to like an event and then like just have a bunch of one-on-one conversations from there, from a connection perspective, from giving them a complimentary experience perspective. And then when they came to work with me, it was all one-on-one. So now I've gone into this environment where all of a sudden, like I'm holding groups of people. And there's many things to say about it, but what I think I'll focus on for this in particular was just like this. There were so many times, if I'm being real honest, there were so many times where I wanted to run back to one-on-one. There's so many times where I felt like it wasn't working. I'm like, I'm given 210 coaching sessions. Like why am I not like a quadrillionaire yet? You know? And what was happening is I was having to learn how do I yes, I can get people in a conversation, but doesn't mean they know me. Doesn't mean they want my services. Like, doesn't mean that like I'm the right person for them. And, you know, I'd like to share as I'm going through it. It's my last 90 days I've been looking at. It's kind of like my recap. So you're going to see me continue to, I just want to share the process as I'm going, and I'll come back in the future. And I'll have like an answer to this, or at least a better answer to this. But it really struck me about like who I needed to become in order to hold this capacity. And generally speaking, when I felt the pull to go and just go down to one-on-one coaching and do the thing that I knew, or even an even stronger pull was just to like eject from the whole podcast, like as a process of creating clients. I got a chance to remind myself, like, hey, you're here to become like you've done the 6-figure like coaching game. Now it's time. Now you want to play the 8-figure entrepreneur game, you know. And if that's the case, like an 8-figure entrepreneur and movement leader, right? Maybe movement entrepreneur would be easier for me to say. But if that's the case here, like we need to step into what it means. Like, this is the process. This is part of it. At least in the vision that I have. Of course, there's other ways that I could have gotten to 8 figures, but for me, part of the process was like, I want to be the person who can handle, like, has the capacity to create these kinds of experiences for people. I want to be the person who can has the capacity to learn what works and then bring on other people to be able to use this process instead of me. You know, but whether I'm teaching my clients this inside of the profitable impact program that we have, or I am working with bringing on other people on my own team and getting them to replicate this process. Because, like, one of the things I love about this is that it's super simple. Like, I'm telling y'all like about this because I'm like, it's a very simple process to do. I like, and I love it for that reason because I've done complicated and it didn't yield the results. But I want to be upfront about this component of it all, where it's like there's a lot of work in there, and I feel like the the bigger thing is like who I've wanted to become, who, like, how that's changed how I look at myself, and how it's given me an opportunity to actually stay in alignment with who I want to become. Now, one of the things that's really cool here is I gave you some of my numbers here. Like, I was sending 400 emails a day. That's again another email, another video to go into. And let me know if you want me to dive into any part of my process that's resonated or that you're confused about, or that you're like, wait, what are you doing? Just let me know. I will make a video about it and share it with you. Um, but all of this was like, it's like, this can be scaled back or scaled up, right? I could be sending 4 emails a day. I could be sending 40 emails a day. There's no, it's my choice based on the goals that I want to get to. And I think the process of recognizing it, like, oh, I have to go through the process of figuring it out. And for that, I need the volume of it. And in that process, I will grow into whatever is next to come along, right? Into the new leader that I'm looking to be. And I cannot keep the same uh, if my desire for the end goal, let's say the 8 figure entrepreneur movement leader, if that's my desire now, I have to let go of some of the things that made me comfortable in the 6 figure coach realm. you know to let go of, like, being able to lean back on the things that I know, and instead say, like, how can I take the things that I know and level them up? Like, I'm not trying to make this through ads or selling a product or anything. I'm still coaching. I'm just learning, how do I coach in a group consistently? How do I take people who've never heard about me, and may or may not have even come onto a podcast conversation with me, and create them in a way like that we're able to grow with each other over the next year or years, right? Those are questions that I'm still continuing um, to answer, and not just answer, like, oh, on a one-off time, but like, how do I do this repeatedly to the point where we have enough volume that I can then go and teach someone else to do it? So these are, I want to make sure I'm just being upfront with y'all about, like, the journey and where I'm at, and kind of put some of this in here for any of you outliers that are also going down your own journey of walking your path, of figuring things out. For some people, it looks really good and all that, but on the reality is, like, it takes, it pulls you into something larger than what you are at. And I'm going to invite you here right now to just take a quick inventory for yourself. How are you creating the conditions for you to almost be like, to have no choice but to grow, but to step into your next level? I think one of the ways I created those conditions, that I started out by sending 400 emails a day, right? To get people to come onto the podcast. Uh, I um I made a decision to say I will have 6 people on the podcast rather than just doing one-on-one. And then went from having one-on-one people that I was being given coaching conversations to one-on-4, and then eventually one-on-6. So, like, I can see myself growing. And now, just so you know, at the time of this recording, so we're doing it, it's been 90 days. I started this process in basically right after Labor Day, so about like September 1st of 2024. I'm already thinking to myself, oh, I can do this, but instead of having 6 people there, I can actually do it with 12 or 20. Like, that next stage of where this, like, and I promise you, when I started this, I couldn't see how I could do it with more than one person at a time. right? But in like 3 months, I'm already seeing like opportunities for me to hold these sessions in a different way that there'll be even more value when there's 20 people in a conversation as opposed to three, four, six, like these opportunities. I'm growing, and the reason I'm growing is because I've put myself in a position where it's either grow or fail. And so I'm asking you, Outliers, when was the last time, what do you have in your world right now that's putting you in that position to either grow or fail? And when are you leaning into, I'm going to become the person who can handle this? It's hard right now. It's more than what I'm used to right now. And what are you doing around that compared to like, what are you saying actually right now? If it's not going easy, it must not be for me. And so rather than persevering, I'm going to pivot and try something new. Right. Share your thoughts in the comments. Let me know how you're approaching this here. I care about what you're doing, and when I get a chance, I want to respond. But then my ask is, make your comment, respond back here, and then make another comment on someone else. This thing that's put something in here. Like, we can have community wherever we choose to have it, and I'm going to invite us to have it in this space right now. All right. Remember this. Until the next time we talk, be you on purpose. Journey on.